Okay, there we go. All right, thanks everybody for being here. Coffee and Art in the Morning. I'm Dee Dee, and we already did a Happy Mail, hilarity, too much fun in the morning show for about, I don't know, almost 2 hours. And so now we're going to do another impromptu, working on some art cards. So I think I don't want to zoom out because then you won't be able to see anything, but maybe we're zoomed in just about right. So, catch my breath. I just ran up the stairs. Thanks everybody for being here. We got a full house, and which is awesome for an impromptu. If you don't know, I do a live stream every Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern, Coffee and Art in the Morning. And I upload them to YouTube, so you can always watch the recordings there. So thanks everybody for being here. It is a live chat with live people. I'm not talking to myself this time. Okay, so I'm gonna make some art cards. Let me see if I have a couple of sample ones. I keep a couple samples so that people can see what they look like when they're done, because rarely do we finish 20, 25 cards start to finish. So I do have an array of the stages here of how I make the little art cards, but let me go ahead and show you what they look like, some of them anyway, in different sizes when they're done. So for instance, here's the 3x4 one, and that's the size that I'm going to be doing today. So here's one that's finished. It's varnished. I varnished them all. I paint the backs and sign them on the back. And sometimes I'll put some shooting stars or something on there. But this is what they look like when they're done. And they're just little mixed media collage art cards that I give away. So I'll show you a couple of them here in the 3x4 size. It's another one. And again, they're all varnished. Some are horizontal and some are vertical. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So there's that size. And then I also make square ones occasionally. I'll make some square ones. These are 4x4. Then I also make some 4x6 postcard size ones. Just like this one. Here's another one. I try to keep 3 or 4 on hand to show y'all examples of. And then here's a horizontal one. So there's a couple of that size. Then I also even make, I think they're 2 inches. Is it 2.5, 1.5 or 2 inches? I think they're 2 inches. I haven't made any of these for a while because these are hard to show, just under 2 inches. These are hard to show on camera or even make on camera. But here's some little tiny ones. So these are just about 2-inch squares. Yeah, coffee, art, and fun in the morning. That's right. So I'll show you a couple of some of the inch ones, or 2 inches. And let's see what other, a couple more. And so that's some different sizes. But today we're going to be making the 3x4. That's a good size to make. Sometimes I make the 4x6 ones because they're easier to see on camera, but I don't get as many of them made, and I'm always running out when I want to send them out. I used to send out a art card to every new person in Ustream, but I really kind of quit doing that as a promise to send to every new person. But eventually, if you hang around here, you'll get a card. Because I do send them out quite often. So that was the finished ones. This is the stage where they're all the collage and the basic paint are on. I don't know why I have a couple in there. They're cut up. I must have needed it for something. So this is kind of what they look like unvarnished, with no stars, waterfalls, or anything like that. So this has just got some basic painted layers on there, but they're not completed and they're not varnished. Okay, so it goes from basic. Oh, not saying basically. Art card. Hey guys. Hey Uli. Okay, so it goes from like just picking out some collage elements and making a little story on the card. I have a stack of them here. Hang this upside down. I have a stack of them here ready to glue. I've not even glued anything down yet. They're not 100% even finished, but I just have kind of like a little story in my head for them. So they're just little collages like that. So this will be the first stage is picking the collage elements. Matte medium, I use matte medium to glue all my collage elements down for a couple reasons. One, it gives the card a little bit more sturdiness. It coats the card with a consistency of matte, it's matte medium, golden matte medium. It glues it consistently. I can smash everything down and it does nothing ever peels up. And because it's got the coat of matte medium on it, I'm able to paint over the top and wipe and blend away real easily because that coating is on there. So it goes from that to gluing different. I don't know why I have a few of these little bitty bits in here. I don't know why I was making those. Then it goes to something like these. Okay, then it goes to something like this. Then it'll go to something like this. Then it'll go to something like this. And then it'll go to a finished piece like that. So that's the different stages that it goes through when we're making them here. Okay, the collaging, picking the bits, gluing them down, adding a little bit of blendability with the paint, adding more painted details, and then finally all the little stars or any waterfalls or anything else I add, and then varnishing them and painting them on the back. So a set of, I think I've got about 25 here, 30 maybe, in different stages. It can take me about 2 days to do a set of 20, 25 because of all the stages that it takes, the drying in between, the painting, the varnishing, the backing, and all that. So I just don't have enough time to do a set of 25 every week, which is what I was doing. And it would take me a day and a half to 2 days to do 25 cards to mail out for free. And I can't do that. So I'm going to just go ahead and move this up here. I got to keep my little card here. This is my camera focus card. So anybody got any questions, put them in caps. Okay, so let me get out some matte medium. And I do the same type of system with all the, it's all the same, the way I do it all the time. Now this is dry acrylic paint, so I'm just going to pour out some golden matte medium. I also have, you can also put it in Sunset Carol's idea to put your matte medium in a dishwasher bottle, because then you can just open it up and squeeze it out. And I've only had to go through, this is only my second bottle, and as long as you keep it fairly clean on the tip and keep it closed in between, you won't have to change out your bottle very often. So you can just squeeze out how much you want. Okay, and just make sure you keep it. It's whatever kind of bottle it is, just a squeeze top. All right, so let me put that over here. And then I keep my glue brushes in water. I'll get a small one. These are the only brushes that I keep in water. They're like funked up brushes, they're all just kind of ruined paint brushes. And I keep those in water, the only brushes I keep in water for gluing. So they never get hard if they stay in water, but it does ruin, your brushes are ruined anyway. My brushes are ruined anyway before they get to the glue jar water stage. But then that's always just good for gluing. All right, I think I'll get a piece of wax paper. Let's see. I need to move some of my Happy Mail that we showed earlier out of the way. Hang on. Don't want to get anything on my little cards and treasures. some baby wipes, some wax paper, just so I don't get a big gluey mess on here. Oh, I think we're almost out of wax paper here. I might just have just enough for one batch. I have to get some more wax paper. Okay, roll up the sleeves a little bit. And I think I'm zoomed in enough, hopefully. All right, and then baby wipes will be used not only just to clean my hands as I go, but to make, when I start the painting process, maybe I'll do like 6 per stage or something. Let's see. Well, maybe because I want to be able to see them, and I think only about 6 are going to fit. So let's go ahead and I'm going to pick out 6. Let me just hold them up over here so you can kind of see. So, and this is just lightweight cardstock. Sometimes I use heavier cardstock, but by the time I get the collage elements, the paint, the back is painted, matte medium, and a coat of varnish, thin cardstock is enough for this. It just depends on, what you like working on. So I'm just going to kind of go through here and kind of pick out. I like this one with the bird. I think it goes this way. I'll try to pick out my 6 favorite ones right here. I kind of like that one, but I might like another better. So just so you can kind of see that nothing's glued down yet. So they're just kind of in, oh, I do like him, the little, this one needs to go to Quail Hill. We might need to make that one for Quail Hill. Jan, Quail Hill Jan. And Mr. Bear. Here's one I have with a couple of cardinals. Here's another one with just another kind of little bird. This one needs a piece of watch. Where's Eileen? We won't be doing that one today. All right, so here's one trees and some other elements. Oh, we'll do this one. I got one here with an owl and a little bit of a solar system. So we'll do that one. Okay, so we'll do that one. I think we'll pass on this one, and we won't do the flamingo. I would not send that to Eileen. I got another owl here, but I think I got this owl. I just picked out just different little random bits of stuff from bits of magazine, bits of collage that you guys have sent me. Here's another one with a butterfly wing. Oh, I do like this parrot. Let's do a parrot. We'll do this parrot. And kind of like this, but it needs another focal point. And if you don't know what to put on an art card, whether it's this size, a smaller, bigger art page, if you put a person, place, and thing, you got a story, in my opinion, okay? Because if you have, and a person can be a bird. A person to me is anything alive. So if you have something living, a person, if you have a place, and you have a thing, which I usually at least have a watch, or something similar to indicate time. If you have a person, place, and thing, then you have a little story. So there's a blank one right there. Let's see, what else do I have in this stack? Did I already go through this stack? I think I did. There's another little owl bit, another parrot. Okay, I think we went through this. Okay, so I'm going to move these off here. I think we'll go with maybe this bird. So we got some birds today. All right, so we're going to go with some birds. So yeah. All right. So right now it's just at the stage where we've kind of set them out. But I do want to quickly go through one of these astronomy books that I just got in Happy Mail from Janice, B. Lilith Janice. And so I'm going to kind of flip through here and just see if there's something awesome that, just talks to me. I love this telescope. Okay, here. So most of the time, I like to tear my collage images because when you go to paint around them and on them, if you've torn the edges, they'll blend. Let me see. Maybe I'm trying to find one that's you can see a little bit better of the stages. Okay, so like this one. This is one I did for Christmas because it's got the little we didn't finish this one. But if you tear your elements, when you go to paint them, the paint will blend much better on a torn image than on a cut image. Okay? But there's times when I'll fussy cut like the little bird head or, stuff like that. Or in this case, this little telescope. You kind of have to fussy cut some things, but as much as you can, try to keep the edges torn, because when you go to do the paint part will, I don't want the stand on here, I just want the telescope part. You can blend it better with paint if you don't have hard edges to try to paint around or blend. So that's just my best method that I use, is not too much fussy cutting unless it's something like a specific image, like this little telescope, and I don't even know which one I want it in. I kind of want it on this bird, I mean on the owl. So I kind of want something like this. Let me just kind of show you my thinking process. I have this little bit of a nebula looking thing, or a planet or stars or something. And I don't mind gluing off the edge. I'll lay out my little composition how I like it, and then whatever's hanging off the edge, when I get done gluing, I'll just turn it over and trim it, okay? But I do like this bird, this owl head, and I like this watch bit. Now I want this up here in the corner, so I'm going to move him over here, because this two eyes and that give it like a three, compositionally three things there. But I also like this little telescope. So I'm thinking I might be able to incorporate that into his little headpiece here made out of watches, or a watch part, and maybe just have the telescope coming out somewhere like this. I'm not sure. I don't want it like pointing right at it. I want it kind of like something like that. See? And then we'll paint around it, put more stars or whatever else we want. So I'm liking that right there. Okay, so I'm just going to set that down. If you have any questions, put them in caps. You like the birds, Lisha? So I used your new polychromes for the first time and came to doing the whiskers on a cat. You had a white jelly roll, okay, and a uni Posca and Prismacolors, and even a Typex pen. I'm not sure of that one. Yuli is in EU, so I'm not sure what a Typex pen is. None showed over the polychromes. Yeah, then I would go with just white acrylic craft paint with a liner brush. What kind of magazines do I use the most of? Um, well, for the watches, I'll find things in watch magazines. For birds, those are like out of calendars. Um, really, the only thing I really don't use much of is fashion magazines. I don't do much like the girls and people kind of thing, that some people do. Like Packer Dye does awesome girls from magazines in her art journal pages. I just don't use many fashion magazines. I have one fashion magazine in my house. I just don't use them. And when I do use fashion magazines, what I'll end up doing is, it's not so much, I mean, occasionally I'll use a face, that color book page I did with the Asian girl with the cherry blossom trees. She was out of a magazine, but here, I'll show you here's an example. See her sleeve right there? This is the thing I'll use. I'll use that in a collage bit right there, rather than anything else. I like textures and fabrics and patterns. That's what I like about fashion magazines, is they have awesome textures. Like, look at this skirt. See her skirt right there? That's what I'll use out of a fashion magazine, rather than the full image or the faces. Very often. I mean, every now and then, like, where's the one I did here? Like in this color book here that we did this, I did not do this particular project on a stream live, but I did tweet it out. So this is a color book page, and she's out of a fashion magazine. However, I cut her down I added my own other things like the watches and painted over her clothes, things like that. But she's out of a fashion magazine. But, you know, I just don't use a lot of fashion magazine stuff. Then the other page we did last month, this last Monday, was this page. So you can see where I used a watch part and then color book page, painted the background, added my own waves, left this part of the tree unpainted, I mean uncolored, because I like the contrast of the just the black and white trunk. So yeah, just to give you an example. All right, so let's go back here. Oh, I'm going to come back to the astronomy magazine real quick. Oh, I missed what the Tipex was. Try. Yeah, use a thin paintbrush. If you have a liner brush, that's what I'd recommend for drawing any kind of lines. Let me see if I got one right handy. Hang on, I got to take them all out. Oh, no, that's a tiny brush, but that's not a liner brush. Here. Okay, so this is the kind of liner brushes that I use when I want to draw a nice line. Is like this. Let me get it wet so you can see how long the bristles are. See, like that long. Because you can get a nice straight line with that length. All right, so we got that one kind of laid out. I really like this one almost like it is. Not much more. I just like the way that simplicity of that. Maybe have a little bit of some clouds coming across that one. This one, I already have a little bit of a nebula looking thing here. Let's kind of turn this around. How do I want this to be? Like maybe that. I think I want this down here, that like that. Maybe this bit of watch here. It really almost needs a little bit bigger bit of watch, but we'll see. Something like that. Like his little neck is part of a, you know, almost make him like a steampunk bird. It's a brand of whiteout, Tipex. Okay, thanks, Mac. Or Tipex, however you say it. Tipex, Tippex. It's a brand of whiteout. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Okay, so this one, I already have a bit of a wing from a bird. To me, looks more like a bit of landscape. And then this bit of, I think this is actually goes this way. It's some kind of a glacier or something. I just tore that out. I liked it like that with a bit of some more of this piece. And I'm going to just kind of use that back here with that and that on top, something like that. So I'm really liking that, although I really wouldn't mind a little bit of a watch part in there, which I know I have some bits of it already set out from last week's Happy Mail. Hang on. Just need a little tiny bit of some kind of a watch bit. I like adding watches, compasses, anything that kind of indicates direction, time. Just a little bit peeking out right there. Just that little bit. That's all I need right there, that little bit. Okay, this one, so that one's done, that was done. This one, let's see what I want to do here. I have a bit of a mountain range. And this is some kind of foliage from something, but it looks kind of like ice-capped mountains. So I'll put that like there. This is a piece of a clothing pattern, and I'll put that as part of the mountain range there. And then I like this bird. So I just got to make sure that he doesn't get lost up there. Oh, let me move this up. If I put him right here, his beak gets lost unless I repaint them. So I'm kind of trying to decide how I want, maybe I want that up just a little higher so that the little beak actually comes into this plane right there. And he actually could, I gotta quit saying basically and actually. I'm just like over it in myself. I think I'm gonna get just another part of a watch. That's too big, but I do want something almost that size. like right on his head, but that's too big. Let me just get in my new watch magazine here and see if I can find a small bit. This watch magazine, it's the Watch Collector. It has nice big images that I like to use in my art journal, but they don't have a whole lot of tiny ones. But this one, let's tear this thing in. This is a good size. So you can see it kind of takes a while, guys, to do these art cards from start to finish. And that's usually why we don't get a full one done or like a full set done. Okay, you're welcome, Mac. I'm recording. So yeah, you can watch it on the rest of it on YouTube later. And for those of y'all that do watch my recordings on YouTube, I really appreciate everybody that watches. And I know they're long. I know they're 2 to 3 hours. But, you know, you can always stop them and come back. You know, I don't really ever expect anybody to sit unless you're working. I like to watch 2-hour videos and streams and recordings when I'm working because it's like having, you know, just someone just to kind of be in the background. I'm not really I don't watch TV while I'm working, and I like music occasionally, but I'm not really a music kind of working, you know, music while I'm working kind of gal. I'd rather just have someone talking in the background while I'm working. Um, so I do watch long streams, and I do know some people that do enjoy long ones because for that reason they're working while they're listening. Um, but if you only can watch 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time, just come back and pick it up because you can just slide your little time bar over to wherever you left off and pick it up from where you left off. Okay, so I think I'm going to cut this little bit of watch out like this and make him have like a little, some kind of maybe even over his eye like that. I kind of like that. So let me show you what that looks like here. So we'll go with that. And see, I still have this little bit of watch left from where I cut that out of, and that might look good on the little parrot. Or maybe not, I don't know, maybe a little bit of a band around his neck. It's not bright enough. It's not showing up enough. I like the idea of a band around him, but it's not quite bright enough. And then this little bit of fabric just already almost looked like the parrot's tail. So I'm going to like incorporate that right over the parrot's tail like that. See how it kind of blends in there? And then this is just a little bit of leaf or fern that kind of had the same colors in it. I'm not sure exactly how I want that in there, but I do want that little bit of color right there. So you like the long streams too? Yes, some people do, and I understand not everybody has, they're not working and watching. A lot of people are at work and they can't watch, and I totally get that, but I like to watch while I work. All right, so I think I need just a little bit of a tiny bit of a brighter watch bit. Here we go. This one should work. Just a bit of this. I think I like this little bit of blue right in here, so I'm just going to cut this out. Because it has the blue of the parrot in there, so I think I'll kind of trim that up. Kind of go maybe on his back or something like that. Do I like it like that? Do I like it like this? I think I might like it like that, but I don't want to lose all that red. So I'll pull it down just a little because I want enough of that red to kind of stand out. So there we go. All right, I think I got enough collage stuff in this batch. You listen while you color. Oh, good, Dave. Yeah. X is David until he gets his name changed. He has to go out, sign in, log out, change his name, and come back. So for now, X7 is David. Okay, so there we go. I think that we're zoomed in just about the right amount, although I think I could just move it just a little closer to me so I can get on it better. So again, thank you, Janice B. Lilith, for all the astronomy magazines. All right, so then what I do, the next step is roll up the sleeves. And it's if you don't want to lose, like you don't want to pick up all the images off the little card, just have an extra card handy. And what you can do is then just move the card that you want to look at to transfer all the stuff over. You don't have to like disassemble, although most of my bits only have 4 to 5 pieces of collage. The rest of it gets painted in. You know, the rest of the story gets painted in rather than more collage bits. And this one only has 2, and the rest will be paint. But if you have a lot of collage elements and you don't want to lose like where everything is, or you could take a picture of it on your phone or something and look at the picture. But for me, it's just as easy just to have it right next to the one I'm getting ready to do. So what I do is I take my matte medium and I put a full coat of matte medium. I use a lot of matte medium. Okay. When I glue things down, I put the matte medium on the card, on the back of the image. Let me move some of these out of my way. And then also over the top. If you wouldn't think you'd have to put that many layers of glue, but or matte medium, I should say. If you put it on 3 parts, the card, the back, and over the top, it will lie flatter, and then I'll smooth it out with the card. Okay. So now I'm going to take my owl, put some on the back. And I know some of this is self-explanatory. Now, I always say, I don't want to sound condescending like, we know how to glue. I don't want anybody to think that I don't think you know how to glue. But I just, when I'm working, I explain what I'm doing, even though it's obvious. It's obvious what I'm doing. But what I do is I'm talking it out. I'm talking out my process. Or for those in UK, process. All right, so there we go. And then while it's all wet, then I'll take a card of, this is just an iTunes card. It could be an old credit card. It could be whatever. And then just smooth it out. Now, depending on the kind of magazine image you're using, some magazine images are thinner. And if you just keep going over and over and over and over the magazine image, you're going to get to the white core. So you've got to kind of just do it a couple times. Just get it smoothed out and then move on. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside, and you can see where it's all needs to be trimmed on the back. I'm just going to set that aside for a minute and go on to the next one. Now I have a little bit more room here for the next one right here. And I got these baby wipes. I got to say, Hubster, bless his heart. I always get the Huggies, but he accidentally got the Huggies with cucumber. And not only do they have a scent, I don't like scented things. I like unscented everything. I like unscented everything. But he got me, that's all they had was the refill pack of cucumber. And not only do they don't smell like cucumber, but they're like soapy. Listen. Hear the soapiness of it? That's really irritating. But it's all I got, so we're using it. But anyway, they just feel funny. They feel soapy. And I keep reaching for something to dry my hands with. But Huggies, just plain old unscented Huggies, are the best baby wipes. And you'll see we're going to use baby wipes here when we get to the painting stage. But I don't know about this soapy business. Listen. Hear it? Well, I think it's aloe and cucumber, actually, Carrie. All right, so let's go to the next one here. Let me just get everything glued down. Let's get a little crack-a-lack in here. All right, so now I'm going to take the back image first, the farthest back, that's in the background, I should say, the one that's in the farthest background. And I'm just going to kind of quickly get these on. So I do put a good bit of matte medium on because when they're nice and wet, the card will slide over the top of the matte medium pretty easily. But you got to be careful you're not just like sliding off the image too. But you want enough pressure where you get out any wrinkles. Okay, so that one's done. So you can see how much is going to have to be trimmed. Yep, crack-a-lackin'. Oh, it's so foam. It's so soapy. Okay. Once I get this part done, I don't care if paint gets on here. You know, all this is right here is just craft paper on a table that I've layered craft paper. And then when it gets too squishy, I just take off a couple layers and recover it with my table with black craft paper. But I don't want the glue on here. I don't mind paint getting on here, but the glue we'll have a big sticky mess if I'm not careful with the glue. All right, so here's the next one I want to do. I'm going to put this piece next. Then the bird. Then the little bit of, looks like tail on that fabric, and the little bit of watch bit on this back. Okay. And I got to kind of get it to stick down, otherwise things will slide around. This is usually about the time that when Jean's here, she naps. This is the part that makes it, that would be a good ASMR. This part right here, I could be talking real quietly and quietly gluing. I swear I'm going to do an ASMR video one of these days. So there's that one. I'm just setting it on the side. Let's get to the next one. So once I get this all glued down, I'll move the wax paper out of my way. Okay, this one just got the two pieces. Yeah, I think we'll send this one to Quail Hill. So do I want it kind of like that? Do I want it looking up? Maybe like that. I think I want it kind of looking up at the stars a little. That's kind of cute. Because the rest will be all painted. Okay, let's move that one off. All right, Linda. Are you still trying to get me to Oak Island? 10X? Okay, I got to get something dry, too. But seriously, I'm going to put a towel on my lap. Because that soapiness is, yeah, it's not pleasant. Don't give me ideas. No napping today. Okay. All right, so next, got 2 more to go. All right. Let's see. So I slather quite a bit. Let's see, I think I want this watch bit first because his little neck needs to come over the top of that, like that. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out while we make some art cards. See, that'll have a lot to cut off, trim off. One more. This one. It's getting a little sticky. And then a little bit of this watch I'll have to tuck up under this feather landscapey bit. So let's get that watch tucked under there. All right, so there's our 6 cards. It's getting a little sticky on the wax paper. All right, so I'll throw this away. Pull off the excess off the card. Trash that. Wipe the hands. Don't give me any. Oh, okay, that's what I know. Okay. I plan to do a stream about it once, all the info. Okay. Now I'm going to take, I put out way too much matte medium. there, but I got to put my brush back in the glue water so it doesn't harden up. Because I think we're done with the glue. So the next thing, let's put the glue back on the shelf. I say glue, I mean matte medium. All right, so now I want to take heat gun and I'm going to dry these real quick and then we'll turn them over and trim them. Hey, Erica. We're making some little art cards. Mixed media collage cards that I give away. And if you dry on the back and the front, it kind of helps it stay flatter. Okay, so now let me get bigger scissors. I can do it quicker. Trim these up. If I get glue on the back or anything, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to I'll paint the backs black anyway. Now you won't need to see me do that. I might varnish one when we get done, just so you can see me varnishing one. But then I have to paint the black, the background's black, and then I let them sit for, a few minutes to dry. Then I varnish the fronts, and I just use the Delta Ceram coat. Let me show you the bottle. Just use Delta Ceram Coat Gloss Exterior Interior Varnish. And you can get it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. It's about $10. But you get this, 8 fluid ounces. And it only takes about the size of a quarter, just a little droplet to varnish one. So this will last forever. No, I don't say forever, but it'll last a good bit. Okay, I got a little bit of a wrinkle in that one. Just kind of smash that down. Again, most of the time those kind of things kind of work themselves out because of all the layers of paint and varnish. But that's what I use at the end to seal. Now, if you're going to do any kind of wet, like you can't, or I don't want to ever say you can't, never. But if you're going to use like any kind of watercolor, neocolors, any kind of water soluble stuff, which I don't do when making these art cards, you have to remember that when you go to varnish them, it's going to move. So you have to, test whatever you're using before throwing a bunch of wet varnish or anything on it, because you just might end up smearing everything. I just use acrylic craft paint, so it does. Once it's dry, it's not going to move. So you want to be aware of whatever it is you're putting on your cards as to if the varnish is going to move it. Same thing if you use a fixative or any of that. Fixatives will move some things, even though they're meant to fix something. So I'm just trimming off the excess here. Kind of flatten them out a little. And like I said, by the time you get the paint and the paint on the back and a varnish on the front, party in the back, it won't be as wrinkled. There you go. Okay. All right, let's move all that. Okay, let me move these cards. again, if you're just joining us, this is just the first stage. Well, the first stage is picking your bits. So here's like where I've picked a few bits. This is what we started with. Now we've glued them down, which is like the second stage. So I have a whole bunch here. I've already just glued down some stuff. Okay, then the next now is going to be putting a base coat of paint, kind of just like blending in the stuff, blending in everything. And then the next is to do more final, let me get a good example here, like this one. Then I might do here's a cave, some rocks, some water. So then we'll do more base coating, but it's more specific. Then after that is where we go in and add any stars, waterfalls, or anything, and then varnish and paint the backs. So there's a lot of stages to it, but you know. Okay, so we got our 6 cards here. Okay, now what I usually do is a lot of times I do have a lot of black background. So I can, here's one with red and one with ochre. In this case, I'm going to try to do a little crack-a-lackin', so I am going to just do black backgrounds, and then I'll go over it with more of a specific color. But just to get it all blended in so you can see the effect of it, although this one I probably should like to use red. Maybe I'll do some red and black. This one could use a little bit of cream color. Well, maybe I'll put up 2 or 3 colors. All right, so I'm just going to put out on my little palette here, which all my palettes are all just coffee lids. Speaking of coffee, take a sip of my, I'm sure, cold coffee now. And I'm going to put out some black. I know I'll end up needing white. I don't need it yet. I'm going to put out some white. And I think I'll pull some, maybe, I know I'm going to need a red. Do I want a burgundy? This is kind of cranberry wine. I think I'd rather have more of a red. I think I'll just go with a red. So I'm just going to put out some primary red. Don't need too much because these are small cards. And maybe a little bit of some, this is raw sienna. We'll just go with those for now. Don't need too much. All right, let me roll up the sleeves. So what I do usually is I just start finger painting. That's the next how I do it. Well, I do. I have 1,000 lids. Well, y'all saw when I cleaned up my room how many coffee lids I had. Oh, this is so squishy. I don't like the soapiness of it. Oh, okay. I got to go get me some new baby wipes. Okay, so I think I'll start with this one. And I usually just dig right into the colors. In this case, I'm going to use the sienna and the black. The white will be, stars and water and whatever in a little while. Some clouds maybe. But right now I'm just going to pick up some, and I usually don't even clean my finger. I'll just pick up a couple of colors at the same time and switch from finger to finger. And just kind of marbleize it. I don't like anything to be like, I don't want that solid black or solid, and I'll say never, but So while I'm doing this, it's kind of looking like a little bit of feathers there. So I might just take some sienna there and just kind of like make some little feathery looking designs with my finger, like that maybe. I make it up as I go. Okay. Now, the thing about, this is what I like about having the matte medium over the whole thing. Because there's matte medium over the whole thing, I could take a color, and if it got on there and I don't like it, I can take my baby wipe, soapy as it is, and completely wipe that off. Because it's got matte medium over it, that I can do that. If I did not have this coated with matte medium, you can't wipe that off. It would soak right into the magazine. Now, here's where the benefit of having the torn edges are. There's a torn edge right along there. Because there's a torn edge, I can take my paint and it will blend that torn edge much better than it would if I had cut it. Okay, so I can blend it in, and then if I have too much paint, I need another baby wipe. This one's already. go through a lot of baby wipes because you have to have a clean spot on the baby wipe every time you go in. So I can kind of blend that in with the baby wipe, you see, and get rid of that harsh edge. And I don't know how well it's showing up, but so I'm going to go back up here in the sky here and just kind of blend out a little darker black. And I might put, some of the rings around that planet there. You can barely see it. I can accent those later with more rings. And speaking of, again, I want to mention a shout out to Jean, who did an awesome tribute page to David Bowie on her show on Monday, Music Scrap Jean. I was saying earlier on my last recording that I've seen so many great, awesome pictures, portraits of David Bowie for the tribute to him. And so I'm just going to take some of the little, this is so wet and soapy, I can't stand it. But I've seen so many awesome portraits and stuff, but Jean did an amazing and she said, I only can draw a stick figure. With a stick figure, she did a double page spread in her art journal, all these beautiful planets all colored in, and the background was beautiful, and some clouds and a beautiful stars and planets, double page spread. Then she did a little like Saturn with some rings around it, and did just a little black silhouetted stick figure. And then music coming like floating around his head, and put a quote along the top. And oh my gosh, to me, that was the most amazing tribute. It was more meaningful than a lot of the beautiful portraits I've seen. Not that there's nothing wrong. I mean, believe me, I've saw some beautiful, gorgeous artwork portraits of him over the last few days. But Jean's had so much feeling to it and so much meaning. And you could tell it meant so much. Oh, she's here. Sorry, Jean. I didn't want to embarrass you. I didn't even know you were here. Sorry. But, well, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But seriously, I mean, it was so meaningful and just so good, Jean. I mean, you were apologizing for, all I can do is a stick figure, and this isn't straight, and this isn't right. It was so awesome. It was an awesome tribute, Jean. So it was really good. All right, so now this is kind of thick right there. I mean, I'll end up drying it with the heat gun, but for now, just so you can kind of see that the sienna, see how thick that is? It's pretty thick on there. But that's how you can get those kind of effects when you take a couple of colors on your finger and just kind of blend them out. It's because the paint is thick that I'm able to do that. Okay, I got a little bit more than I want right there on his little face. But if you put it on really heavy, even though it might take a little longer to dry, and then you can also go in there with brushes and do individual few little feathers or little indication. But for right now, that's the base coat. Okay, so that one's base coated. All right, so I'm going to set that one aside. I'm going to need some more baby wipes. I mean, I pretty much get a new baby wipe every card because I'm also cleaning my fingers and I'm wiping the cards. All right, so now we're going to go to this one. I think I do want maybe some teal. No, I think I'll just leave the teal to that. And in some areas that I might want just a little bit of black or a little bit of color in there, then, I will take a brush, a small flat or an angle. Angle brushes are my favorite because they're so versatile, but a flat brush will do. Here's one. Yeah, but it was awesome, Jean. It was the tribute you did to him or for him was just very meaningful, and it was meaningful. That's just the best way to say it. Okay, so you can see how I like that shape of that feather right there. It kind of indicated to me part of that bird. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave that and get rid of all this. So just so you can kind of see. And again, this is just the base coat. Kind of blend it in. I'll go in there with more detail, some clouds and whatever else. But you can see I can kind of just feather it in there. I think I do want a little bit of cream color right there. Let's see, what color do I want? Kind of just a moon yellow. I just want a little bit of a creamy color other than white to kind of blend in that cloud area there. Pick up a little of that, both those colors. Again, I'm going to go back over this with other things. I'm just trying to get rid of the card. You know, the card itself. Maybe it needs a little more black up at the top. I'll come back over here with the clouds. Kind of. All right, now I got to clean the black off my hands before. Oh, the foaminess. Before I can kind of blend that in with my kind of like a dry brush look. So that one's base coated. So I'm going to set that one aside. Where's the other one I set aside? Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, look, it's foaming up. It's soapy. Oh. Sorry, guys. It's just like one of those things like fingernails on a chalkboard. Ugh. Definitely out for the new baby wipes today. We should also remember his wife and daughter and give them a warmest hopes and wishes. Yes, thank you, my fairy treasures. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. I'm trying to do at least a couple finished, completed ones. All right, so where's my brush? So in some cases, I do want to kind of do a little bit of fussy painting, like right around the bird's head, you know, just to save some time. It's easier to do it with the brush. But if you get it on, again, you can wipe it off with a baby wipe because it's matte mediumed over the whole thing. So I'm going to kind of blend all this in. But anyway, I wasn't able to be there live, Jean, because, you know, we had the family here, but I did watch the recordings. You had it was a 2-part recording that Jean had. All right. So just kind of, do I want more of a distinguished little point on the little cardinal? Oops, sorry, guys. I got to remember to stay in camera. Okay, and then maybe I want to blend in some of this down here. So this piece is with this piece. So you can just kind of do that with your finger. Like that. And then there's a little bit of white edge right there. Maybe a little blending right there with some blended out. So you can see how you can blend in all the elements together. I hope it shows up. Because you're the boss of your art card. You're the boss of your art card. Then we're going to put some clouds and water and stars and other things in there. But I got to get them base coated first. I'm cracking you up, or I'm cracking. It is. It's like every time I'm seriously, look, when I clean my hands, look, there's soap on my hands. I don't like soapy baby wipes. Don't find them. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get this one. I think I need a little bit of a, I want a little bit of a blue-gray in there too, maybe. We'll see. Shh, real quietly. Look at that tree right there. Got a bit of collage bit there. So it's just like playing. You just got to play. You just got to kind of imagine a little world. Imagine that those little bits of fabric are rocks, you know. Now I have to kind of decide here, do I want it black there or do I want it, because I might have something else coming in there. Do I want a gray blue? I think I do want a gray blue in there. Okay, let me get a little bit of a, that's going to be too bright. I think I need some of this deep midnight blue. kind of paint around that mountain. Whoops. See if I can get back up there. Shh, real quietly. Got water on my brush. Okay, shh. Get in the zone. Get in the zone there. I'll probably have to go around his beak because I'm losing his beak in the black and the dark blue. So I'll probably kind of maybe outline it a little bit. I think I want to make a cave right there. Let's make a cave. There'll be a little person right there walking up into this cave. This bird could be the guardian. Okay. So there's a little cave there. There's going to be a little person right there. These could be like rock steps. Now this bit right here is kind of bothering me. It's too harsh. So we're just going to kind of back that out there. Make it go away a little bit. It's too much. It's too harsh. But I don't want it to go to the edge. Kind of like that maybe. Same for this side. Let's kind of blend that in. Okay, I'm going to leave that for a minute. Let's go on to the next one. All right. Okay, so I think I'll go with a little black and a little red here. Let's kind of... Need more red on this side, it's brighter. I gotta remember to stay in the camera out there. Okay, where's my baby wipe? I'll take a little bit of that paint off. Maybe make it a little bit more mountainy back there. The far distance. Let's see. Something going on back there. A little bit, I'll have this have some water and some waves. Maybe we need a cave though in this one too. Or right there. That's where the cave is. Cave is right there. Okay. And we'll tone it down a little, but I gotta have it base coated. We'll have a little cave there. And some of this background here, let me get rid of some of that. It won't be that bright. I mean, it won't be that stark when we get done with it. Okay. A little bit of sienna down here on these edges. Something like that. Okay, so there's that little world started. One more. All right, I gotta clean my hands again on this soapy business. And then I'm drying it. Get the soap off. Get another one. Oh. I'm cave hunting. I like little worlds. I like little dimensions, whether it's caves or space or, you know, portals, or I like all that. Okay. This little guy, I think we're going to need a little bit of, let's do a little bit of blue gray. Let's see, mix up my own little color here. Kind of that gray color. That will work. It'll work. I just kind of want to, I just want to blend it in there. So I'll just kind of do that. Okay, let's get a little bit of the red, a little bit of that yellowy color, and just kind of get that little background nebula space area kind of blended in like that. And just a little bit more right there on the edge. Something like that. Get the red back up in here. A little bit of black, kind of tone it down. Got too much gray on my hand. It's just a little bit of finger painting. And the thing is you got to kind of let what happens happen. Don't try to plan it like, oh, I've got to get this, like just this. You got to kind of almost let it happen in this kind of like free form kind of thing. Because you can't really plan out that exact swirl, okay? You can't plan out that exact swirl or you know, any of that. Now his head right there, I do want his head to show. So I'm going in here with my baby wipe and just kind of wipe back a little bit. I might have to add a little bit more white to the top of his head because the top of his head's kind of like a yellow ochre in the collage bit. And I want it to stand out. So I'll probably go in there with some white. But you have to almost just like let it happen and not overwork it because you just can't plan that. There we go. Okay. All right, so I got all of them base coated. Let me get all the paint off my hands. How long have we been here? We're good. Let me check the time. Okay, we're still good. And Noodle's not streaming today, so that's why I'm just like kind of taking my time. Joycey's not streaming today. All right, so let's lay out the 6 cards. And we got base coated. And I need to go run and get some coffee. And then I'll probably hit these with the heat gun real quick. I mean, there's a couple areas I can see are still damp, and I want them nice and dry before I go in there with detail. But there's the 6 cards, and I will take a picture of them, the final ones. What kind of magazine has those cool birds? That's from a calendar. The birds are from a calendar, from last year's calendar. Okay, let me go run and get some coffee. Then we're going to add some clouds, some stars, some water. Okay, one moment, please. Okay. So let me just hit them real quick with the heat gun. Let me move my paint out of the way. Alrighty. I just want to make sure it's not blobs of paint. Because when I go to add white, I'll be picking up all those blobs. It looks pretty good. Okay. All right, so now I want to add the details. You can get a white gel pen or a white, small white brush, maybe a gel pen. If you use a gel pen and then you're going to put varnish over it, when you go to varnish it, first off, make sure that you hit it with the heat gun if you use a gel pen. So it kind of sets the gel into your paint. But then when you go to add your varnish over the top, don't be scrubbing where the white gel pen is. Just like one quick whoosh with your finger over it, because this will come up. if you scrub it in, if you scrub it too much. So if you're worried about scrubbing away a white gel pen, then just use acrylic paint and like a pokey tool or something, like a pokey tool to put stars or whatever, so that, because that won't come up with your varnish. So, yeah, I know. You see, and the thing about when I do these kind of things, I can kind of see different stories and ideas that I think I like in them, but I kind of try to keep that to myself because I want everybody to imagine their own little stories in here. Like, for instance, let's go back to this guy right here. All right, so remember I said I wanted to have a little, so I can just see like a little guy here with maybe a staff, some kind of a staff or something. I can't get too little because I can't see it. Something just like that. Or even that could be a torch. And then taking, I need a bright orange. Let's see, let's get a bright orange. That's not bright orange. What is that color? Jack-o'-lantern orange. But I don't need jack-o'-lantern orange. I need like, what orange? Bright orange. That's what I need. I need just a touch of bright orange for a little fire. So I'm just going to take a little bit of orange on my pokey tool here and maybe just make a tiny little torch. You probably won't be able to see it, but it's not going to show up on camera, but it looks like a little guy with a torch walking into the cave. And then maybe I want a little bit darker. No, that's too much paint. Let me get some of that off. Just a little bit. A little bit darker on this side. Like it's really, really mysterious on that side. I might have to blend that out with just a tiny bit of water. Feather it out just a little. Don't really want to harsh. Whoop! Hang on, I got a little drop of water on there. So I'm just going to blend that in there. Something like that. Might be too much. Let me go in with a little sienna. Linda, are you messaging me? Okay, I froze for a second. There we go. So something like that. But you can do little, I mean, you can get really detailed. You can go in here with little rocks and make like little rocks and crevices and all kinds of things. Just depends on how much time you want to spend, you know, playing with the little story you want to tell. This almost looks like a whole little city up there. That could be like, we can have a little bit of maybe some clouds. Let's put a little bit of clouds right along here. Maybe a little bit of, just to kind of blend this in a little. Like that. Even across the top of the bird. No, I don't know if I want to go across the top of the bird. Maybe let's make it fog instead of a cloud. Let's have it kind of a fog. And then that could be like a city. Just kind of fog it up a little there. I'll have to go over the top of his beak to kind of highlight it because I'm kind of losing the bird. Might have to detail some stuff right along the edge of his little cap thing there too. Okay. But that could be like a little city thing. I need a little bit of, maybe a little bit of olive green. It could be a little gray too. But let's just put a dab of. See, because I'm not liking the transition from there to there. This is going to have more of a, I think I'll probably put some glow or some watch hands coming off of that. All right, so let me get a little bit of gray and green, or a little bit of blue and green and make it gray. And I think I want this to be more of a, kind of brighten it up just a little. I think I might make this part of like a cityscape back there, far in the distance. She's clicking on someone else. Oh. All right, so like almost make it a little bit more structural, like maybe. Not too much. I just want a hint of something going on back there, far, far away. just a hint of something going on way back there. See? Can't really see anything. You don't really know what's going on back there, but you know something's back there. See? I hope it's showing up. Maybe a little bit more over here. Just something a little bit like that. Then maybe back in here. Let me move this out of the way. Now I've got to set this down on the table to put pressure on it. Maybe one little shooting star. Just one. Okay, but I want this to come out like the center of the watch and his beak. I've got to accent his beak because I'm losing the beak. So just accent the beak a little. And then I think what I'll do is make some of the lines come off the, like glowing off his helmet, but then put the fog back over the top of it. So let me get my little brush. Let me just do it in a sienna color to start. Let me try to zoom in, guys. So I'm gonna be working close up on some stuff. Let me focus it. Hang on. Come on, focus. Okay, there we go. You're welcome, Lynn. Thanks for coming. Thanks anybody else that's popping in and out. Always glad to have anybody that can stop in for however long. I don't want to like get into that far because I don't want to get into that star. I want that to look like a different plane. All right, so there's that. Now I want a little bit of orange. Nope, I got black on the brush. Hang on. It's got my little bits of paint over here. Oops, wet. That's too thick right there. So let me go in there with some black. Kind of thin that out a little. Okay. Now I got to hit it with the heat gun before I can add a layer of cloudage over the top of that. So. Move my camera to center. Whoops, try to center it there. Hey, Lisa. Working on some art cards. Sorry, guys, I just bumped the camera. All right, so now I want just a little bit of just kept keeping my pen cleaned off. Something like that. See, because I got it a little thick back there. Do I have enough, a little bit of blue, gray? Kind of. Oops, too dark. Kind of leave a little bit of imagination on that one. What do? I think what down here. All right, I think I will put a couple of stars, just a couple, because I want some down here. So I have to kind of, okay. So I'm going to call that one done. As far as, now I still have to varnish it and all. It does need just a little bit of highlight on these rocks, right on that edge. And it actually could use just a bit of highlight on this horizon right there. Just a little bit of contrast right on that horizon right there. Okay, so what I'll do now, let me dry this. So you can see one fully done. Yes, he has a mechanical eye. All right, so I think I got, let's make sure. I don't want to smear it now. So what I'll do is I use the gel pen, so we'll hope for the best as far as not smearing that gel pen. Now, I see a little bit of the white card there, so I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of black and just go right along that edge. I don't want that bit of white card showing on the edge, so let me just kind of blend that in there. And I have to hit it with the heat gun again. I like the whole presentation to be nice. Sometimes I have more time than others. Sometimes you might get a little bit of a wonky card if I'm giving them away, but because I don't sell these. These are giveaways. All right, let me hit that with the heat gun now, and then I'll put some varnish on it so you can see. So I think you can see the little guy going into the cave. This little torch. Okay, one more thing. I guess I should just do one little touch of white on his torch. It just gives it a little bit more. All right, now I'm going to hit it again with the heat gun. The mechanical smells good. You like that? Thanks, Orla. All right, so this is how I do the varnish. Okay? Let me see. It doesn't take much, and my hands are a little dirty, but hopefully it's dry. It doesn't take much. I just take the card and I just put like about the size of maybe even a nickel. Okay? And I just use my finger. Now, if you're using a bigger card, you could use a foam brush, but I just go out in a circle like that and pull. Don't be scrubbing on those stars. They'll go away. Okay, you just want a quick little finger across it, and that's it. Okay, that's it. All right. Got a little bit of poolage right there on the edge. That's it as far as the varnish. Then you set it aside and let it dry overnight. It probably will dry in a couple of hours, but I always like to let it dry overnight before I mail them out because, you know, it could stick to the envelope or the card or whatever. So you really want to make sure it's dry. And then what I'll do is let me clean off the soapy baby wipe. What I'll do is then I will paint the backs. This is just my sample one. But I'll paint the back and sign my name on the back. And yeah, then it'll be good to go. So you can kind of see when you put the gloss varnish over it, it just makes it more cohesive, okay? You don't see any shine versus flat paint. It makes it all cohesive and shiny. See? So, let me make sure my chat's scrolling. Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, I try to, I mean, eventually I get an art card out to everybody. Uh, eventually I do. If you have not got an art card from me, let me know because I'll put you on, you know, my to send an art card to eventually. I just can't do it for every new person every week because it takes a couple days with the drying you see how long it takes. And this is just one card here. And we've been here an hour and a half. So it takes a while to do them all, plus the dry time, the post, not the money for the postage necessarily. Well, Hubs would say so, but but the time it takes to address envelopes and put them in cards, and it takes time. It takes 2 days to do a batch. But I don't mind doing them, but I just can't do it every week. That's a thing. I just can't do a batch a week. So there you go. There's one done. And I'll just set it aside so that it doesn't get touched while it's drying. Yes, the art card waiting list. At least I'm going to do it. If you're just coming in, this is part 2. I did a Happy Mail and a magazine showing on part 1. And this is part 2. We've been here about an hour and a half. And so what I've done so far, Lisa, is all these cards here that I've base coated. This is like here's stage 1, where they're just, picking out collage. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is gluing them all down in some kind of a story. Stage 3 is when you just start base coating and blending in your images to start telling the story. And then that's where these are at pretty much this stage now, where they're all blended in, and now I'm ready to add stars, water, clouds, more of the story, little people or whatever. So we're at the last stage of finishing them up, just shy of varnishing. So you've not received what David, I just met you. I don't even have your address. Give Carrie, if you'll give him my address, my email address, you have to email me your address. Because you're that new. Okay, so and if you have not received an art card for me ever, email me, guys, and I will. If you're here, now I can't email, obviously. I mean, if you really want me to email you one eventually from YouTubers, you'll have to message me your address. But I cannot promise I can send out hundreds of these. I only can make about 20 a week. That's all I have time for. All right, so let's go over to this one because I've already started doing the little. Yoda would not be happy. No, I'll send you one. No, really, I send everybody here eventually. Everybody in my Ustream show that's here live, I do eventually send everybody an art card. I just can't do it like that week like I used to do. But seriously, Carrie will give you my email. All right, so let me go ahead and do him. I already did these little feathers with the paint. I think I kind of want some feathers coming off of his little face too. So I think I'm going to do that. So we're going to go with that. Let's do some little feathers, some little. And I'll just kind of smooth them out with my finger. Just so he looks like he has a little bit of more featherage coming off his face. Yeah. Just a little bit of, a little more oomph, Know what I mean, Vern? Okay. I forgot I have something to tell Miss. I have to have something to tell not Miss Vicky B or Vicky BR. I have something I have to tell her next time I see her. I don't think she's here. Let me look. I don't see her. I've just remembered something I had to tell her and I forgot, but I don't see her every day, so just a little bit. That's a little bit. Needs a little more blending right there. I'll do a little pat and a little drag. A little pat, a little drag. I love doing that. A little fuzzy. and a little feathery. Okay, I think that's good for the little feathery collar. Maybe just a little bit more on this side. Like that. And I think what I'm going to do, I thought about making a little bit more. I don't want this to be too much around here, but I'm thinking about putting a glow coming out of here. But I do kind of want a little bit of just an indication that there is a ring around this, but without it looking too, I think you can kind of get the idea that it's there. I love Jean's little Saturn that she did. Something like that. He could be quoting Shakespeare. I like that. I like that sky bag, yeah. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and kind of make some more areas in this watch that are dark, dark black because I'm going to put some stars inside this watch. And then I want this really dark around the telescope because I'm going to have probably a beam of light coming out of that, out of the telescope. But I got to kind of look at my lines here because sometimes my composition gets a little wonky. Because for the telling of the story, I sacrifice some composition sometimes. All those lines are not going good together, not going well together. And so sometimes I do. All right, so I think, let me hit that with the heat gun. All right, now I think I'll even put a little life in his eyes. And instead of a shooting star on this one, I want just a little bit of it could be a shooting star, but I want a beam of light like coming out of the telescope there. See, actually, this needs to be tilted just a little bit more, but like I said, I'm sacrificing a little bit of composition for the story because those are two, like, not on the right. Like, this needs to be up more or this needs to be down more. But all right. I think if I add a few more stars, it'll kind of detract from the kind of offness of the who girl. All right, it needs a little bit of black, darker around the. This is just a pit pen, which I know will be waterproof when I go to add the varnish. I think I'm going to darken his eyes just a little too. Okay, let me hit this with the heat gun and we'll varnish it. just a drop of varnish, just about the size of a nickel, okay? And I just kind of circle it around and then pull it off the edges like that. And try not to, you know, I'm not trying to rub very much on that gel pen because I can rub that off. Okay. So I think, and then by the time I add a coat of black paint on the back, it'll lie flat. It'll be a nice flat card. It's a little warped now, but it won't be by the time I add another layer on the back. So there you go. You can kind of see the milkiness it'll dry clear. The varnish is a little milky, but it will dry 100% clear. Like this one here. Like that. All right, so I'm going to set that one aside. Thanks, David. I'm glad. Thanks for being here and stopping in and watching. All right, so I think we'll go to this one because I want to have a couple here where I can add some. This one I'm going to send to Jan, Jan. I want to add either some water. This one I can add some water to. This one I'll add some water, and I need someone with a cloud. Maybe this one. Do a cloud. So do cloud, water, or foam, and a water. Okay, let's go with this one. All right, so we have the little, let me get in here with my little paintbrush and kind of get rid of, see, it's it's a big black hole there where the cave is, but I want to pull it back so it's not a harsh black. I want it to look like you can go in that cave. See what I mean? Just by adding a little bit of something, maybe just a little orange or something like this. Might be a glow back in there. Just so there's something going on back in that cave. But I don't lose the total darkness there. And then this one I do want watch hands coming out. I know that. And then maybe just a little bit of water along this edge here. Let's see. Just got my little palette here. All right, so I'm going to just make this into like a little water, like a little lake back here. Just a little bit. It doesn't take a lot to make it look, give you the impression of what it is. Doesn't take a lot, And I want this part subtle because I'm going to put the watch hands coming off of the watch here. So I don't want this to get too detailed. That's probably enough. All right, so now I got to kind of decide. I want it to come up from here. And it would probably be better if I used paint for this, but I'm going with the gel pen. You like these art cards? I know everybody does. All right, so I want this one to come this way. Angie Bell did some. She did an awesome job. She kind of followed along and did, all the little techniques, and she did some awesome art cards. With some water and waterfalls and all kinds of things. I don't know if she's still here. My Fairy Treasures, Angie Bell. She did a video on it. Okay, I think I want a little bit, I don't like the way this ends right here, so I think what I'm going to do is probably put a little bit of, maybe just a little splash of some water there. Let me see. I think I'll do a little sienna and a little white and sienna, maybe a little orange. Let's see here. I want it to kind of be brighter than this, but still look like it's a part of that. Let's see what that does. There we go. That's pretty good. Just a touch. Let's put a little bit like that, and then maybe just a tiny, when that kind of dries a little bit better, I'll put a little bit of brightness to it. Let's see. Let it sit for just a second. Just a little touches, little subtle touches. It doesn't have to be like a lot. For a little story to go on. I really need to let that dry a little. I'm not letting it dry, and I should. Okay. So I'll highlight the top of that. That's probably enough. Okay, let me hit this with a heat gun. The scroll paintings? Yeah, I haven't done the art scroll for a while either. Maybe I can do that next week. Pull out the art scroll. Okay. Do I want anything else? I'm kind of liking it. It's kind of simple. I could make a little bit more fog here. Oh, and to make fog, now I'm hating this baby white because it's that squishy, soapy kind. It's not the plain Huggies. It's the cucumber and aloe or something that's got soap in it. But to make fog, let me just show you how you do it. Let me see which one do I want to do it on. Maybe this one. We'll make a little fog on that. But to make the fog, just take some just take some paint. Now on this one, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow because I want it to look kind of cloudy and foggy, but I want it that color. But I don't have that color here. So you just take a little bit, just get a little bit of foaminess like that, and you can just kind of, you can just make your own little fog. It can make a fog bank. It can make some clouds. It can make foam. So you kind of see how I did it there. I don't want too much here, but I just kind of want you to get the idea. Okay, but you can just kind of pull it in there with a baby wipe from your hand. You don't want much. That's why I do this. I'm wiping the bulk of it off. Okay, all right. So let me dry that again. We'll varnish that one, and then we'll do the next one. The napkin journal, yeah. Yeah, I haven't done anything in the napkin journal either. Okay, so there we go. I'm just going to put about a size of a nickel or a quarter. Just roll it around and then just kind of pull it off everything, just like that. And just, it's got a milkiness to it, but it'll dry. Lay it flat and it'll, smooth itself out. So let me put that one to the side. All right, next. Let's go back in here with the, let me get a little bit of this yellowy, I think it was moon yellow or so. Oh, I got some black in there somewhere. There's some black in there. Let me get that moon yellow again. Let me get a clean spot of moon yellow. Need some down here where there's no black. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just going to mix me up a little bit of moon yellow, like kind of that cloud color there. It's kind of just a little shy of white, not quite yellow. And then I'm just going to pick some up in my hand and just get that color going here. Okay, oops, sorry. Like that. And then I want to just kind of fog it up. I just want to kind of make it like, I don't even know if it's showing up, but we'll see. Need a little thicker. Right on that horizon line. But just kind of, so he's kind of in the cloud. See that? Just like that. Just so he's kind of looking like he's behind that cloud. Okay, and then on this one, I'm just going to do a few stars with a gel pen. I'd request anamorphia. Yeah, Anamorphia, I have to do that in stages. I'll show y'all some of the books that I'm working on when I get done with this. I'll do a quick little flip of some of the pages that I'm working on, like Game of Thrones, Anamorphia, some of the color books that I'm working in. All right, maybe just that much. I'm just going to keep this one kind of simple. Something like that. Although this needs to almost look like it's kind of, let's see here. Let's go ahead and put a, that just looks like it should go there. All right. Congratulations on your boyfriend. Oh, I maybe better not say that on the recording. Sip of coffee. We're going to finish these. I got 2 more to go. We're going to finish these cards. And, yeah. Well, the fronts anyway. I still have to do the backs. But I have to wait till the varnish dries. And it is best to do the varnish part. Let me give you this hint. If you varnish some cards like this, whether it's ATCs, art cards, or whatever, it's best to do the varnish first, because if you've got this painted black, let me see if I got one here. Well, this one's, I did a pretty, I mean, it's got some edge problems, but if you do the varnish after you paint the black, then you'll get varnish on the back and it'll leave a shiny spot. See? So it's best to do the varnish first. See, I just smeared some stars there. Do the varnish first, and when it's dry, then do the back, because then you won't get varnish on the back accidentally, because it's really easy to, especially since you're putting it on with your finger, to pick it up and get it all over the place. All right, so there's that. Alrighty, 2 more to go. And I think this one, I just want to add a few stars because I really like it, and a little bit of, just a little bit of maybe some little feathery hairs coming off the back of his head here. This one's going to Quail Jan and Mr. Bear. And then I'll just kind of feather them up. Might have to actually do that with a brush. It's not showing up very well. Just put a little bit and kind of pat. Like that. Then have a few, maybe almost like, it could be kind of a glow, or it almost reminds me of the sun, where when the sun has, what do you call it, sunburst on the sun, not sun rays, but when flares, solar flares. It's like a solar flare. Yeah. It's like a solar flare. But I don't want it to get too perfect. They got to be kind of uneven and all. Kind of like a solar flare. Solar flare! And I got a little bit of glue problem there. Yeah, I didn't quite get that edge glued down right there on the very edge. Just on the tip. Let me glue that edge down. There we go. I think I'll add a little twinkle in the eye. Okay. Hit it with the heat gun. A little bit of varnish. you can turn it sideways to see if you've missed any spots. Like that. There we go. And again, it's milky, but it'll dry clear. One more. We got to add some water on one because I haven't added any water to anything. All right, so we'll do some water on this one. Okay. So I do know I'm going to want some more stars and stuff up here, though. Maybe a couple with a little bit of a, like a, you know, a glow kind of, your typical looking star where it would be glowing. Kind of smear it out a little. So I got one right there. All right. Could actually even have one coming right across his face right there, I think. I think I like that. Something like that. I don't want it to look like he got shot in the head. But I think you can tell with the other stars that it's a star. I think. All righty. Now, she'll like it, you think? Oh, good. I hope so. Haven't sent her anything for a while. All right, so now what I want to do is do a little bit of water. Here, let me see. This brush might be too big. Let's see. Yeah, I need a smaller flat brush. This one's too little, so, but I do need to clean that. Need a little bit. This one will be okay. Okay, Julie, go ahead. All right, so what I want to do, though, is I want water. So, oh, not too much yellow in that. I picked up too much of that yellow. Let's come around this side over here. I want it to be more white. Now maybe it'll come down like there. Shh, gotta think about it. Shh, where's the water coming from? Maybe a little right there. Now it's looking like a jellyfish. Okay, I'm not going to like that's going to look like a jellyfish. Just saying. Okay, we're going to take that off. I just looked at it. Yeah, that was like a jellyfish. We'll have the water coming off of him. I don't want a jellyfish over there, so I'll fix that a little bit in a minute. I think we'll have it coming down around this way. It looked like a space jelly, which that's okay. I mean, nothing wrong with it. It could be a space jellyfish. But I think it'll look better compositionally if the water's coming from over here. You get just a couple of bright areas that will really make it pop. And then keep the rest of it really subtle, like, you know, see? See how that looks, Vern? I know. Everybody's laughing at that. And then maybe, let me just wet this a little bit. Maybe just have a couple a little bit of splashy down here. Kind of tie that in. That one's too big. Let's get that one out of there. It's a little big too. Probably do it best with the gel pen. All right, now let me go back and get rid of some of this, some of these lines here where I kind of got it looking like a jellyfish. I don't want that. I want that to be kind of more nebulous, less jellyfish-ish. Okay, I'm liking that better. Okay. Let me dry that out. A couple more stars here and there. I think that's going to be pretty good. And maybe get just a couple little extra bits coming off of some of these gears, some of the water kind of splashing around some of those little gears. Just a little. Don't go crazy. I'm telling that to myself, not saying it to you. You can see, so that way the gears, it looks kind of like water could be falling off of some of these different ones. Kind of coming around there. Not too much. Subtle, subtle, subtle. Okay, let's dry this and put some varnish on it, and that will be that. Oh, you did. I do know one other thing I want to do. I want to just add a little bit of a touch of white in that eye. Just that one eye there. Okay. So anyway, guys, thanks everybody for being here with me a couple of hours today. I gotta watch that. You know, I don't want to go rubbing into that gel pen because it'll come off. All right. Let's see if I got it completely covered. Okay, I think we're done. Got to lay them flat for, a couple hours at least. All right, so let me show you the ones we've got done. Then I'll show you a couple of color book pages that I've worked on that you'll probably already seen most of them, if not all of them, if you've been here any length of time. Then I have to eat some lunch and clean up because it's a mess. Let me get my focus card here. All right. So let me go and show these to you while they're close up, then I'll zoom back out. So there's this one. And I'll take pictures of them and tweet them after a while when the milkiness goes away. This one. This one. We did 6 of them. We got 6 of them done today. Hey, Terry. And this one. Thanks, guys. Oh, well, I'm recording. I'll put it up on YouTube after a while. All right, so that is the cards we did. Those are the cards we did. Now I will just quickly show you. Oh, let me back up. Let me back up the camera and refocus. Hang on, guys, because if I'm going to show you. All right, let's refocus. Show you a couple color books that we've done. Then we'll go. And I appreciate everybody being here. Again, if you're here in Ustream and you're part of our Ustream live show, and I've not sent you an art card, just, send me an email and I'll put you on the, send out the card list. All right, let's see. Let's see, I'll show this one. I'll just show a couple here. Carrie wants to see the Anamorphia. Just pick a couple. Which one am I looking for? Oh, here it is. This one. And I'm looking for, wait, 1 minute, I'm looking for one more. I'm not sure where it is. Okay, so let me just show you some of the ones that I'm working on or have been working on. I already showed you this one. Okay, this is a mixed media, and I've already explained in a couple different videos how I did it. And then this one is the one we did on Monday. Again, paint, gel pen, color pencil, and that's in the Inspired Nature. Then in the Anamorphia, all right, I'll show you some of the ones I've done and some that are in process. What I do with the Anamorphia is I do watered down acrylic paint washes. It does wrinkle the page. It does wrinkle the page, but I don't care. By the time you get done with all the color pencil and everything else on there and the painting in the background, the wrinkles are not very obvious, but you can see them right there. I've not finished painting the background of this one yet, so the wrinkles are real obvious, but by the time I get done and it gets to, say, this stage, you hardly see any wrinkles at all. I mean, I could probably really feel them if I tried, but you really do not see much wrinkles at all by the time you get to this, with all the paint, color pencil, painted backgrounds, and all that. There's that one. Here are the owls. And if y'all have not seen, I do have a Facebook. I don't have what do you call, not a fan page. Anyway, I just have a regular old Facebook page. But my albums, if you go into me, photos, albums, you can go into my color books, my portraits, my desktop art table pictures. They're all public. You don't have to follow me. I don't have to follow you or anything for you to see all my color books, but they're under albums. You have to go in the albums, which you go to me, Dee Dee Willingham, then you go to my photos, then you go to my albums. And then in the albums, there's all these different categories. But these are all in there, okay? This is one that just has the wash on it, and that's all. So this is in that stage. Same for this one. It's just got a purple wash. This one's done. You can see. You like the crinkly sound? I do too, Terry. I like the crinkle sound. A lot of people don't like the crinkle sound. I love the crinkle sound. What color are your painted backgrounds? Of the tiger, I'll probably do a dark brown. On the cheetahs, probably a dark brown. So there's the iguanas, or the, I don't know, whatever kind of lizard they are. Let's see. Let's find a couple more. I think I got one or two more I'm working on. This is one that I worked on a little bit on stream, and I do want to continue working on this one. I do have a video up of this much done. And I do try to put everything in playlist. So if you just want to see just color books on YouTube, then I have a playlist with color books. I have a playlist with mixed media. I've about 15. I think I broke it out to about 10 or 15 different playlists in my YouTube recordings. So there's this one, and I think that's it. I think I have a start of some flamingos, which we won't show, because is Eileen still here? Yeah, we won't show the flamingos. But so that's in the Anamorphia. Okay. Then in my Doodlers Anonymous, I love this book. This is so fun. Okay, so this is one I'm working on here. And what I do in the Doodlers Anonymous, well, any of them you could do this, is when there's like pages that have areas of blankness, like here we go. This is one I'm still working on, the umbrellas. But don't feel like you can't add your own whatnots to the back. Like this, I added Color Book Addict, added my own swishy color. This one, I added all these checkerboards are my own. The background, I added a glow over like a fog around the astronaut. I added Artist in Space over there. So add your own touches to it. This one right here, I added my own tattoo. That's the that's the owner of the Doodlers Anonymous. And then also I try to make him have a jean shirt. This is just a wash with shadows in it. Again, this is just a one. When I have one like this, like with the umbrellas, the cities, I can't just sit here and work on that constantly and finish that. It's too monotonous. I don't want to say boring because I don't really feel like I'm bored, but it's just like too monotonous. After a couple of hours, I like some big areas to do my own, add my own thing to it. Here I added my own wash coming down off of the page, and I do have this is recorded how I did this. And this one, all the little patterns like in his sweater, in the barn, in the grass, and in the all that I just added with marker on top of the color pencil. Now, don't add your Copics on top of color pencil. I've heard that from a couple people that can hurt your Copics. So don't go over your Copic. I mean, don't put your Copics over waxy crayon color pencil because that can dry out the tips of your markers. I just use the kids Crayola water-based cheap, markers, and it doesn't hurt that. But if you have nice markers, Copics and whatnot, you don't want to be drying out the tips. Like Sharpies will do it too. Sharpies will dry out if you put them over acrylic paint. Okay, there's this one. And they're all in my album. I was going to say folder. They're all in my album in Facebook. So if you want to see them all. Okay, so do you color with background? Okay, somebody said something about Terry said your granddaughter didn't like something at Christmas, but I don't know. Oh, you didn't like the you didn't like the crinkly sound? Okay. And so like this one, I added all my own storm. That's all my own addition. I added more hair to the monster. I added little hairs to him. So, painted up this. So add your own touches. You're the boss of your color book. This one I did on a live stream. Added all my own water here. There was none of that was here. You can do whatever you want. You're the boss of your color book. So, and then this one, I added the antennas, added the shoelaces, the polka dots. So yeah. So that's some of the ones that I've done in the Doodlers Anonymous. This was just a plain white background, so I made him look like he was going through a snowstorm, carrying his balloons. So yeah, so that's the Doodlers. I love this because it's 90 different artists and every page is different. So it's always a fun challenge. And then finally, I'm just going to show you real quick the Game of Thrones. I haven't done anything since the last time I showed these, but I will show what I have done. This one, I added stickles to make it look like the snow has glittery snow to it. So you can see. And I still have to finish the wolf, but and I haven't shaded her skin yet. And there's some more background stuff I haven't finished. But you can see how the progress I've made on her clothing is pretty much done. And her hood there, again, I've got stickles to make it look twinkly. So, but I still have a lot of the background as far as some color to go and the wolf. And then I got two others that I've got base coated. Let's see. This one is just base coat. I mean, got a little bit of, I think I used Neo Color, a wash. So no, there's no blending or anything yet in this one. I just kind of defined where I want the smoke and the fire behind her. And now I'll have to go in with color pencil and do all the blending. Like, let me just grab a color. I don't want purple. Oh, wait, here, this one. So, for instance, in her belt, so you can see I just have a wash right there, but then I'll go in and start shading with color pencils on top of the wash. See what I mean? So I've already got a base coat color down with, and you can just use kids' cheap watercolors. It doesn't have to be expensive Neocolor twos. It can just be, kids' watercolors as a base coat or watered down acrylic paint. And then you can go in there and start, doing stuff like that. Here's a yellow ochre. I can blend a little more. Needs sharpening, but I think you can still get the idea. See? Okay, and then the last one is one I'm also working on. Let's see, where is it? Where is he? Here. This is the other one that I'm working on. And again, go in here with your color pencils and start doing the shading. See? On top of the wash. So you got like a base coat going for you already. Now, depending on the thickness of your book and the page and how much water you add, it can wrinkle, it can buckle. So you do want to be aware of, not putting a lot of water on these if you don't want wrinklage. If you don't care about it wrinkling or buckling, and most of the times I really don't. It just doesn't bother me to have the pages starting to wrinkle. You see, I'm just going in there with all these leather areas right here. And just shade them in and start doing that. Go Zumba! Go Zumba, my fairy treasures! All right, so there we go, guys. So that's the Game of Thrones book. So any questions or anything? I'm going to head out. I will put these videos, did 2 today, just in some impromptus. I'll put them up on YouTube. And thanks, everybody, for being here. I'll be back, as we say in the South, the good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. I'll be here Monday. And we're going to do a giveaway on Monday. I'm going to give away that cloth, paper, scissors on Monday. So. Don't forget at 4:30, no, I'm sorry, back up, beep, 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 at 7:30 Eastern, Zandra 17 will be on Ustream showing some CHA stuff, and she's doing a giveaway today, which is January 13th, Wednesday. So if you're watching this recording later, don't go to Zandra's at 7:30. You're welcome. So, okay, guys, thanks for being here, and we will see you around. Bye, guys.